Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Choirs and Cups with your hosts Darkside and Affordable Dreams coming in on a nice Sunday afternoon here to give you some CHL coverage this week. How you doing there, Dreams?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself, man?
Not too bad, not too bad. Sweating a little bit with this trade deadline, but I think there's a lot of
Oh,
owners and managers out there who definitely are. It's definitely crunch time, starting to wonder what's going to happen with some of
it
the
is.
AHL guys and all that.
It is definitely crunch time right now, and the trade deadline has been sweaty. It's got kind of you on your toes, but I mean that's exciting in my mind, man, because we're nearing that, like I say, playoff race. We're nearing that. Who's going to make it? Who's not? Who's in the bubble? And we're going to get more of that detail later on in the show. Here, we do have LG McDonald coming in live for an interview, briefly here. Um, we have some more stuff coming for you as well. Obviously, top plays of the week. Some of the standing breakdowns, point breakdowns. It's going to be a fun show. Stay tuned with us. Have a good time with us.
Yeah,
Let's have some laughs. Let's have some laughs, guys. Let's just get it going. Let's
for
rock
sure.
it.
And I'm looking to see Raz in that chat box today. Hoping
Me too.
he's.
But first, I got to point out about what you're wearing on your fucking chest.
I mean, I'm wearing the better jersey and the more
I,
comfy
I,
sweater.
I think what you're wearing is a politically incorrect jersey at this point in time. Price is washed up.
Okay, 917. I think he's what second all time in wins for the Montreal Canadiens. Yeah, he's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, you can think it's defense because he's not really that good of a goaltender.
I wouldn't say Montreal's defense is strong,
No,
but
but
I'd like to.
in the past history, it has been.
In a couple seasons, yeah. For the most part, he's had to drag some pretty mediocre teams pretty far. But I would like to point out, what was the score last night between Ottawa and Toronto?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, man. That's twice in a row we've lost to Ottawa. Which
Three times this season. You guys haven't beat him once this
I
season.
know it's horrible. It's horrible. I don't know what's going on. It's like Toronto just doesn't want to win anymore. They just gave up.
I mean, we'll see what they can do in the playoffs if they can't beat the Senators.
I mean, in my opinion, they're saving themselves.
Yeah,
They're
maybe. I
relaxing.
mean,
They're not going to wear the energy. They know they're in playoffs for sure. They're not stressing out about it. Other teams can push and waste energy. They're going to be hyped and ready to go come round one. But as history shows, the Leafs just choke in round one. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've set aside some time to watch it.
I'll just get swept, so it's all right.
No. But anyway, yeah, that's what we're covering today. A little bit like we talked about is the power rankings, the standings, the player scoring race, goalie race, all that fun stuff. McDonald's going to come in and break down some rule changes that went on earlier on in the season. Just kind of rehash with you guys. I've seen some stuff in the managers chat and across the league with some confusion. So we'll going through that again. So tune in. Pay attention to that segment of the show. But yeah, for now we'll start taking you through that scoring race.
Quickly though, I was going to bring in about playoff structure and the way it's playing out in the CHL. Teams who are going to make it, possibly, and teams who aren't. And there's the whole structure that the LG is going to this year with the changes and the expansion. There's a few things that are new we'll bring up as well when McDonald gets in the party. But yeah, let's move on, buddy, with those power rankings. Want to hit off the top 10 forwards, please?
So you want to do
power rankings for
the scoring race? Yeah. All right, so guys, I paid very close attention when I went to the stats screen this time. These are the correct stats. All right, so coming in number one.
No mistake today.
Yeah, man, it's just the AHL. I don't know what it is. I can't seem to get it down. But
we'll get it right.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, coming in taking top spot for the scoring race here is Sniper 16, the right wing for the Brandon Wheat Kings, going 14-4 with 74 points, 26 goals, 48 assists, a plus 47, 33% shooting, and 16 PIMs. Good job on Snipester holding that top scoring race. Number two is what I assume is his at least temporary line mate Noah Swick. 18 games played, 16-2, 72 points, 33 goals, 39 assists, a plus 52, 29.2 on the shooting, and 30 PIMs, a little bit high, and 50.9 on the faceoff dot. So pretty tight for a center. But obviously making up for his face-offs with the scoring side of things.
Definitely. I'm going to cut you off for a minute, but as
Yeah.
McDonald just joined the party, I want to
Oh,
welcome him into the party here.
yeah, sure.
McDonald, we're going to finish off with our stat breakdown of the scoring leaders and goaltender leaders, and then we'll get you in for the interview.
All right, cool. Yeah, thank you for coming on, by the way, McDonald. Yeah, we're just gonna finish out this scoring race real quick, and then we'll cut over to our interview with you.
Yeah, sounds good, guys.
All right. Coming at number 3 here, we got X57 Chata of the Red Deer Rebels going 16-2, 70 points, 26 goals, 44 assists, a plus 37, a 41.9 shooting percentage, which is killer. And only 12 PIMs, having a pretty strong start to the or season in general so far.
Very good start to the season, yeah.
Yeah. Coming at number 4, Ditka Butkus, the left winger of Saginaw Spirit, going 17-0, has yet to lose a game, 69 points, 29 goals, 40 assists, plus 45, 33% of the shooting, only 10 PIMs. I mean, he's just solid all around. Hasn't lost a game and is scoring at will almost.
Yeah, he has that net, and he's finishing.
Yeah, exactly. Number 5, we got Brewskis, the Niagara Ice Dogs, 17-1, 69 points, 36 goals, 33 assists, plus 53, 36% on the shooting percentage. But
I got to call that guy out for a minute.
Go ahead.
Give the control back to yourself, not your brother, buddy.
But yeah, I mean, maybe his brother takes a lot of penalties because 29 PIMs is a little high, coming at number 6 here, we got the Kelowna Rockets kill streak, their GM, who is 9-8-1, not the best record, but does have 68 points, 38 goals, 30 assists, a plus 17, 35% of the
He's
shooting.
finding a way to help his team at least, even though the record isn't the greatest.
Yeah, I mean, he's scoring more often than he's getting assists. Like, it seems to be
100%.
He's trying to carry that line as much as he can because you don't see another member of the Rockets in the top 25 alongside him.
Exactly.
Number 7, we got
on there.
Yeah, exactly. Coming in at number 7 is VLZKZLF. Wow, too many letters to friggin' read. 16...
He's an all-star nominee, though, buddy.
He is, and I'm so glad I could copy and paste instead of reading it. 16-2 with 68 points, 39 goals, 29 assists, a plus 40. 42.9 shooting percentage and only 12 PIMs. So really solid go for him this season. Him and Ditka obviously playing quite well on what I assume would be two separate, or on the same line rather. Coming to number 8 is Death Row, another all-star nominee. 16-2, 67 points, 39 goals, 28 assists, plus 37, 36.4 on the shooting percentage, only 12 PIMs, and yeah, really solid season for that Red Deer Rebel. Coming in number 9 is the Niagara Ice Dogs Walmart Thug, who is 14-1, 66 points, with a 42 goals, 25 assists, plus 54, 50% shooting. So pretty much every other shot going in, which is ridiculous. Only 8 PIMs. Yeah, really, really solid. Last but not least, another Saginaw Spirit here. JF Hockey 21, another All-Star nominee here. 16-2, 68 points, 26 goals, 40 assists, a plus 41, only 27.1 on the shooting percentage, only 12 PIMs, and yeah, solid season all around. Congrats to the guys who made the top 10 here.
We're going to quickly bust down the top 10 in goalies here, and then we'll get McDonald in. Sorry for the delay, McDonald. We just wanted to make sure our show kept rolling on time. Coming in number 1 for the Ice Dogs is the Duke Star. By the way, I'm looking at 19 games played minimum for these guys. For the goaltenders, just everyone's on board with that. I don't want to make sure we get anyone who's below that in the top 10 here. So, yeah, Duke Star, first of all, for the Ice Dogs, 27 wins, 2 losses, 29 goals against, 340 shots faced, 91.5 saves on average, 0.99 GEA, and 10 shutouts. The guy is just I mean, he's faced minimal shots, but he's making sure the pucks don't go in. He's shutting down. He has that wall up of 10 shutouts. That's outstanding. Outstanding, man.
For sure.
Coming in overall on the second spot is we have Kane Warning 09 from the Gatineau, 15 and 10 on the season, 50 goals against, 442 shots, 88.7 saves on average, 1.95 GEA, and 3 shutouts as well for this guy. Still standing his head, helping his team get those W's and secure their playoff spot, which they've already done. They're locked in. They're ready to go. Playoffs are definitely a guarantee for these guys. Coming in next is the Cincinnati Cyclones, PNC Park 2K1. 16 wins, 9 losses, 43 goals against, 377 shots against, 88.6 saves and average, 1.64 goals against average, and 3 shutouts as well for him, showing what he can do for these Cyclones and keeping them in that playoff standings. Fourth overall, we have Mayers coming in, always been a stand-up goaltender in any division or league, in my opinion. Coming in at 16-12 this season, though, with 483 shots, 88.2 saves and average, 1.86 GEA, and 5 shutouts as well for him. Closing those doors at least 5 times.
Yeah, you know what? And playing against him in the same league in the ECHL, the guy is hard to beat.
He is hard to beat. When he's on, he's on. And when he's off, he's off. But when he's on, good luck.
Yeah, for sure.
Fifth overall, we have Max Attack, 21-19 for the Silver Tips, a 23-2 record for this guy, 39 goals against, 309 shots, 87.4 saves and average, 1.55 GEA as well, tied at 5 shutouts with Mayers there. Again, an outstanding performance for him playing for the Silver Tips. A good reason why they're leading their whole division, you know. Sixth overall, we have Drakar's T-Jacks, once again in the top 10 here. 21 wins, 9 losses, 420 shots faced, 53 goals against, 87.4 saves and average, 1.17 goals against average. It has 2 shutouts as well for this guy, showing his dominant performance in goaltender for the Drakars there. Coming number 7th overall, we have the Halifax Mooseheads. 20-5 for the record this season, 46 goals against, 361 shots faced, 87.3 saves and average, 1.77 goals against average, and 3 shutouts as well for him, showing why he changed from a winger spot down to goaltender this season, and definitely doing a dominant role for the Moose over there. Midnight Fapper coming in. I believe he was an All-Star nominee, if I am correct. If I'm not, please yell at me.
You're right.
Thank you. 22-11 for the season, 64 goals against, 493 shots faced, 87.0 saves and average, 1.89 goals against average, and 4 shutouts as well for him. Doing a strong showing for him. Coming in next, we have the Huskies, who have been dominant this season themselves, showing a great standing for themselves. But coming in 11-16 with a record, not the best record standing, but still doing what he can for his team, with 61 goals against, 470 shots faced, 87.0 saves and average, 2.10 GEA, and 3 shutouts as well. Number 9, sorry, number 8, number 9, not 8. I fucked that right up. Sorry, guys, I apologize. Number 10 overall is from the 67s, Nitrate. This guy has been standing on his head for his team for the past 3 weeks. Really helping these guys climb and get out of the non-playoff spot into the playoff spot, and showing that they can hold and dominate. 17-18 this season, 84 goals against, 629 shots faced, 86.6 saves at average, and 2.37 goals against, with 8 shutouts. Mm-hmm. So even with that 17-8 record, he still put up 8 shutouts. That's dominant.
He's definitely giving his team a chance to win every single game.
100%.
Yeah. 2 quick little shoutouts here. Crazy Matt sitting at number 11, slowly climbing back up after a bit of a rough start on some teams.
I want to call it your goaltender, actually.
I was gonna get there, but
go ahead and do it.
Crazy Matt. Congrats on him. I mean, part of our media team, but had a rough start to the season on some teams that weren't doing so hot. And the Halifax Mooseheads are obviously getting some good goaltending with number 7 and number 11 in terms of save percentage on this list. And like you mentioned, left bench 6-7-1, slowly creeping his way back up into that close to that top 10 category. He's been lights out for us this season, and good job, Benchy. Keep it up.
There we go. For this point, man, let's get McDonald in this conversation here. He's been waiting patiently for us as we've been doing this breakdown. So let's get McDonald here. Welcome to the show, buddy.
I'm on mute still. There we go.
There we go. All right, boys. I didn't hear him. I was about to say.
They didn't reply. Yeah. No, guys, thanks for having me back. Obviously, yesterday was a hit as well, so let's do it again today.
Yeah,
definitely. So what do you have for us coming in before we bring out our questions for you?
Okay, so obviously, CHL season, we're winding down. Trade deadline is in just under 2 hours right now, so reminder to everyone, get your trades in. Don't wait till the last minute.
Now, well, it's hot.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because if you wait too long, if there's a timestamp that's past 6 p.m. tonight, Eastern Standard Time, getting denied. Nothing we can do about it. So make sure, don't wait till the last minute. Try your best. And also keep in mind, too, if there's 100, 400, 600 players on the website at 6 p.m. looking for trades and stuff, the site might be a little bit slower. So try your best to try to get on a little bit early enough to make sure everything's in on time. And then obviously just a quick reminder, like I was saying yesterday, that as we move forward tonight, all bans that are going to be issued that are normally 2-season bans are all going to be bumped to 3-season bans, and kind of moving forward. We've also seen a couple issues on the Xbox side already where players were traded from playoff teams to non-playoff teams, and then that player is now refusing to play for their non-playoff team. So I think this weekend alone, we've handed out like 4 or 5 capital punishments for just guys that are just refusing to play for a lesser team that they were originally on. So obviously, let's avoid some of that issues if you want to be able to be part of this website for the next 3 seasons. Because right now, a capital ban would put you till January of next year. So
2020.
NHL, they just won't let you buy NHL 20 until after Christmas, right? So
Now, speaking of 2020, I've heard rumors. I don't know how true they are. That it's going to be only on the PS5.
Like NHL 20 is only on PlayStation 5.
That's what I've heard through rumor mill amongst many people.
No, so they're saying the release for PS5. No. The release for PS5 is coming, aiming for September.
It has jumped 3 times as usual.
I know, but it's actually aiming for September of 2020 and NHL 20.
That's what I kind of thought, but I wanted to touch base on that.
I'm gonna call bullshit on that, just for the simple fact. If you look back before, NHL 15 was released on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. And they're actually 2 different games as well too.
They are.
I've been in 2 or 3 meetings already for kind of the production stuff of what's going on for NHL 20, and I haven't heard too much about the next generation of consoles in regards to how things are going to be. I just know from experience with EA, they tend to be maybe like a year behind. So if that PlayStation's coming out in September, there's a good chance the game probably won't even be released till 2021 onto that new console. So that's my opinion. I don't have anything official from EA, and even if I did, I couldn't talk about it. But from my opinion, based on my experience with EA and how things have always been, I cannot see them just dropping the game for PlayStation 5 and that's it. That would be pretty surprising.
It would be. I want to make sure we clarify that because that's been a big talk about amongst the league about what's going to happen in 2020, right? So.
I would say standard, status quo right now. I can't see anything changing.
For sure.
So I wouldn't worry about that too much.
Now I did have a question for you, and this is not something I think I'll likely deal with, but I'm sure there are players, and you mentioned Xbox guys who are dealing with this. So let's say there's a situation where a player is traded from, say, a strong playoff team to a bottom feeder, and he refuses to play. Is this still standard compensation? I know you handle the bans differently.
Yeah.
Same.
So compensation still works the exact same. The nice part about it is the trade deadline ends tonight, right? So if a player, say, quits next week and there's a compensation situation, well, the BOG don't have to worry about those pieces being traded all around because obviously the pieces aren't moved again because the deadline's right there, right? So basically how that works is we'll just get with the managers as soon as possible and just say, hey, listen, player A, he just quit. Team B, you require to give team A compensation. Work something out. If you can't work it out, we're reversing the entire deal. That's what the rules state right now. We went to a reversal system, if possible, seasons ago because a lot of people were
we did.
Oh, the BOG, they don't know what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. They don't know how trades, they don't know value, blah, blah, blah. So the easiest thing for us to do was just to go to a system that was a reversal.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's some times where we just physically can't do reversal. We're not going to reverse 4 or 5 different trades because pieces were moved around. That doesn't make much sense, right? So this week we do have the ability to usually do full reversals as long as pieces were not moved, which they're probably likely they haven't been. That's something we can look at for this week. But that's a good question too, because just because the trade deadline's over, it doesn't mean that compensation's over. So basically, 6 p.m. next Sunday would be pretty much the deadline for you to file for compensation because that's when the whole window would go around where
that makes sense.
Player quit or was inactive within their first week of eligibility, which would result in compensation.
That makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. But outside of that, we kind of had some talking points there. Bit of a difference from last season's trade deadline or end of season stuff, at least. We talked about this briefly last night with the waiver exemption for players who played a minimum of 18 games being sent down. Now, to clarify, I'm imagining that that's more optional on the management side, not a prerequisite.
Yes, that's obviously something that's optional, right?
I just want to make that clear.
we're giving the managers of the higher tier the ability to return players. Like I was saying last night, there needs to be a discussion with these managers to kind of just go over the pros and cons of a full-time call-up compared to an ECU. Like I was saying last night, I kind of want my higher tier managers that are in a situation right now where they're no longer going to maybe make the playoffs. I'd rather them go the ECU route because a couple reasons, right? So the player in the CHL, he's on a strong team. That's a bad experience to go from that all the way called up. But at the same time, if we just use his player as an ECU, we're actually giving the player 6 games a week. So that player gets to play double what they normally get to play. And one of the biggest things I hear from CHL players all the time was like, I just want to play more. I want to play more in the league. So here's an opportunity for those players to play more than what they're normally used to, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, they're on the CHL roster, so that roster has to be priority. So let's say they're scheduled for all 3 games on Sunday. Well, then obviously that gives the AHL and NHL the ability to put that player in Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for the rest of the week.
Yeah, exactly.
Which then allows for flexibility. Like technically, based on the rules, a player in the CHL right now could play his 3 games in the CHL. He could ECU 3 games in the AHL, and then he could ECU 3 games in the NHL all this week, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the player literally could play every single day this week, upwards to 9 games.
Logically.
The biggest thing too is I think the players have to come to understand that if an AHL manager is coming to you saying like, "Hey man, like I need ECUs, I need this going on, blah blah blah," if that player is going to be dishonest and say things like, "Well, I can only play 830 games," or like I can't be called up, blah blah blah, and the manager looks at your games and you haven't played an 830 game the entire season, but you've been available almost every single day. Well, then the AHL is just going to say, well, this guy's kind of fucking me around. I'm just going to call this guy up because he has to play for me. We've never put restrictions on players for ECUs because obviously things may come up where it's like, hey man, I can't ECU tonight. Like, I played my 3 games last night in the CHL. I'm working tonight. Sorry, I can't ECU. But obviously there needs to be a balance between the upper tiers in the CHL because the CHL is meant to be there to help stabilize the upper tiers.
It's the same as the AHL to NHL.
Yes,
you're
100%. Yeah, 100%. Like the nice part is like we're at a point now where the CHL is super competitive and things are going really, really well. And obviously, it's a growth for the players. But I think the one thing that kind of goes to the wayside sometimes is the fact that the CHL being it's double the size of the NHL and AHL now, right? So the people have to understand that those players are there to help maintain the status quo that we've had in those upper leagues. Like the CHL and Xbox has been around for, I think, like 13 seasons out of 33. So it took, 20 some seasons for us to get the CHL to where it is. But we've always had that NHL and AHL, which is that our bread and butter, which is the experience that the top tier players are used to, which is then we added the CHL as our lowest tier and then expanded it with more teams to help, it to be the bottom of the pyramid to really help support the upper tier. And people sometimes forget that. And I think that it's important to understand that, yeah, you know what, I'm really happy that you're playing on a competitive CHL team and you're enjoying your experience. But at the same time, when the NHL and AHL come knocking and you are available, we need you to be available or you're going to find yourself in a situation where you may not like it because they do have the ability to call you up. Yes, you have the ability to say, no, I can't ECU tonight, I've got work. But you don't have the ability to say, no, don't call me up. I can't be called up because they will call you up. Yeah. And their team's priority to them, but they're also trying their best to have balance throughout all 3 tiers. So we kind of need to work hand in hand to ensure that your experience as a player for the duration of the season is as best as it possibly could be.
Which would 100%. Now, I do want to touch base a little bit about the expansions. I mean, the PSN side in CHL has expanded 2 seasons in a row. Is there a future expansion coming within the next season or 2 to continue the expand the ECHL, or is that kind of finished for a bit?
So the ECHL is 28 teams in the game, right? So the goal is to get to 28 teams. Summer season coming.
It's hard to do.
To be honest, like the summer season's weird. So I've always found that like the first season the game comes out, our numbers are the lowest. This season numbers tend to be relatively high because of Christmas purchases, and then real hockey's like full throttle, right? Playoff hockey starts in a few weeks in the real hockey. Right. But then I've always found that there hasn't been a lot of drop off from this season to summer season, and we actually get like some guys that have returned. There's those guys that are away at school that like can't play during these months because like they're super busy at university, super busy at college. Come home for the summertime, like, you know what, man, I can play 3 games a week. Might as well sign up, play the summer season, right? So we don't see numbers drastically drop off, but at the same time we don't see them skyrocket up either. So Triz and I are having some meetings this week to work on a few systems in regards to it's kind of like a vet system for the training camp. Like it's going to auto purge, which will completely eliminate the 72-hour requirement of you guys having to file those complaints. We're just going to make that system automated, which then will give us a true number of how many players are in the CHL that are active, not just signed up and sitting on a training camp and haven't been on the site in 6 months, right? So it's tough. The short answer is yes. the goal is to expand to 28 ECHL teams. That is the goal, but we're obviously limited to the number of owners.
Sign-ups and availabilities. Yeah.
Staff's a big one. That's a big one right now that people aren't really considering. We have our staff numbers are really low. We've had a couple people step away recently, and we have the majority of the work is being handled by very, very few small group of people on the staff right now. Like the staff is like they're doing their best right now. They're doing a hell of a job, but our staff numbers are really low, like really, really low. And I'm experiencing that on both consoles right now. Xbox side is just like people are transitioning. They've been here for a long time. They're kind of like burnt out, time to change. And the PlayStation side is kind of seeing a little bit of burnout as well too, because the community's growing and super competitive, and it gets a little toxic here and there. And some people that have come in like guns a-blazing are kind of getting to a point now where they're realizing that they need to step back because it's been a lot on them, and it's hard not to take some of the things personal, right? So staff's a big part of it. I'm not going to expand the league to a point where the staff guys that I have are burnt out,
overwhelmed and burnt out, right?
Yeah. So when I come to NHL 20, I have to hire 15 new staff members plus all new commissioners plus train all new commissioners. Like things have to go hand in hand, and then of course we need the managers to support those teams, who then will bring in more players, which will allow us to actually get to that goal of 28. So there's lots of factors. If all things play out the way I'd like them to play out, yes, we're going to go to 28. When? Not too sure. My deadline would be I'd like us to be at 28 for NHL 20.
That'd be awesome. In my opinion, I know a lot won't agree with me, but to me, that'd be awesome. I think it needs to be finished off. It needs to get folded out. We need to get it done with so we can just worry about playing and not numbers anymore.
Yeah, I know. I hear you.
Second of all, I wanted to bring in that is it true? I think it's true that the CHL and the PSN side has come full expand quicker than the Xbox side.
Yes, that is true. The PlayStation side of things. So the nice part was the Xbox League's been around for a long time, and we were handling expansion and moving and changing things. We were very new to it, so we did it really slowly. When we came to the PlayStation side, we capitalized on the fact that the community was new to LG, and they were incredibly enthusiastic about what all this was and what we're bringing to the table. People were used to other leagues that offered a decent experience, but not the same kind of experience that we can offer here. So the enthusiasm and the level of participation from the players on the PlayStation side was extremely high. So if you take that and you add on the experience we've had getting the Xbox League to where it was a no-brainer to me to really push the envelope and put the pedal to the metal to get the CHL expanded to where it is as quickly as possible. When we first brought the league to the PlayStation side of things, my goal and my landmark was to have the CHL full 60 teams by season 10. So obviously, we're there right now, and we blew that out of the water by a couple seasons. So I met my milestone of what I wanted to do for this league, and now we're just going to continue to grow. The ECHL was added to the game, a few games ago, so it was never really on my radar to add more ECHL teams. But now that we have those as well too, we're able to expand.
Would the CHL ever become affiliates with an AHL team instead of this randomness?
So, the website I used to run prior to coming to LG, we did 3-tier affiliation. So it was like the Chicago Blackhawks, the Rockford Ice Hogs, the Saginaw Spirit. We're like kind of all three.
Yeah.
The only thing that's really, really shitty about that is all it takes is for one of those teams above the CHL to have like a really bad season or a bunch of quits, and it totally fucks the CHL team.
Yeah.
Totally. Because all it takes is like the AHL loses 3 guys, we'll go even higher. The NHL loses 3 or 4 guys because they quit. They call it from the AHL. AHL goes, oh shit.
And they call from CHL.
They call from the CHL. Now the CHL goes, oh. So what we found was it's kind of one of those like when it rains, it pours. Because I literally had an organization on my whole website where Chicago Blackhawks won back-to-back Stanley Cups. Rockford Ice Hogs won back-to-back Calder Cups. Saginaw Spirit won back-to-back Memorial Cups. And that was the same organization, and they were really, really tight. They worked well. But I've also seen a team at the NHL, lose 6 or 7 guys at the trade deadline, which then cripples the whole organization. So I've always said for the longest time, it would make more sense to take all of those players, spread them out throughout the AHL. So if Rockford needs to call up 3 players, there's a good chance those 3 players are not coming from the same CHL team.
Now on the reverse side of things, and again, I know authenticity is definitely valued. Do you see any way where you separate all 3 leagues in terms of affiliation? Because that could make for an interesting argument on
It
both
could.
sides,
I
right?
mean, like for the ECHL, for example, to follow you up though, Dark, in real life is affiliated with certain AHL and NHL teams.
I'm going the opposite direction. I'm saying, so let's say, for example, Chicago Blackhawks, Rockford IceHogs, and again, this is kind of like tinfoil hat idea, but hear me out. So Rockford IceHogs, Chicago Blackhawks are directly correlated, correct?
Yes.
Would you ever see a way you would separate that, where you just have the
No.
no, just for the
No, I just
authenticity?
well, right now it is on like
Yeah.
Rockford is
No, I'm aware.
Chicago's like
That's what I'm
affiliate,
saying.
right?
Yeah. So the
So
reason
that
you're
so
sticking
that
to that is for the authenticity, then?
yeah. So what I would love to do, it's difficult and it'd be hard to maintain. I would love to get to a point where the CHL was strictly a prospect league. So the only players in the
That'd
CHL
be
are
awesome.
prospects, except for management. Obviously, I'd make the exception that if you're a veteran player, you want to be in the CHL, you're a strong manager, and I also have value for you because you're a veteran guy, right? So you're going to teach the future. So every single player in the CHL is a prospect.
Oh, okay.
And then
Which
so then
you-
the ECHL. So basically, it'd be like NHL, AHL, ECHL, CHL. So that
Oh,
they're
okay.
like they're at the same tier, but the ECHL is amateur veteran. The CHL is strictly prospects.
Yep.
And
Okay.
then the AHL calls up from the ECHL,
Yep.
doesn't call up from the CHL ever. But those prospect players are on the training camp for ECU purposes and because they're going to be the guys being drafted, right? So
Yeah.
I would love to get to a point where we did that.
That's a really good idea.
That was my initial plan, and it was one of my initial plans was one of the reasons why it was supposed to take 90 games at the CHL to go from prospect to amateur, because 90 games is roughly 3 seasons, which is roughly a duration of a game, which would give me enough
Leeway.
the players at that CHL tier for a long period of time that I wouldn't have to cut teams, because I'd like to be able to do that, but I don't want to lose teams. Like I'd like to keep 28 and 60, but I don't want to lose teams. And the thing too, it's like talking with EA, like for the last so I've been on Game Changers for the last 3 games. The last 3 games, there's been over 160,000 players playing ESHL per console. So
right? Yeah.
realistically, no, we're less than 1% of all the players playing ESHL is what we have on the website. So yes, it is realistic to say that, you know what, I could have a CHL that was all prospects for a while, but to be able to bring in more talent every single season to maintain.
But that's on the owners and managers as
stuff.
well to do that.
I agree, but it's also something that's very hard. It's very hard to sustain. It's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
yeah.
Well, you have people using multiple accounts, right? Like so.
Yeah.
For myself, I have
yeah,
3
right.
PlayStation accounts, right?
Yeah.
That I'll use for different reasons, right? Like some for club, one's obviously linked to LG, but
Yep.
you're gonna have some skewed numbers there a little bit. Obviously to not to the extent that you said, but yeah, like it's I don't know if it is sustainable, like you're saying, but
it's tough. But even if we got to a point where we twisted the numbers a bit, so the ECHL was just veterans, and then the CHL was amateur and prospects.
Yeah.
But those amateurs were still eligible to be called up, and the veterans, you know what I mean? So it was kind of like one of those.
Yeah.
There's lots of options, right? So right now, my goal right now is literally just to get all of the ECHL teams in at the CHL level. So they're the bottom of the pyramid, and then from there, get our script in play that's going to actually, vet and kind of purge the inactive players for us weekly, so that I can kind of get a real number of like how many players do I really actually got here? What are my options? Because you got to think too. If I pull the ECHL and CHL apart, they both require training camps as well too, and their training camps would be like this one would only be prospects, this one would only be veterans and amateurs, right? So
exactly.
there's a lot of logistical things to make that work. I tried it before, but I didn't have the numbers to support it. I liked the way it looked and how it was going to play out, but it was a difficult thing to, like I said, to maintain. So
for sure,
100%.
right on.
I do have a question from the audience.
Okay.
Coming from BR49er for the Vancouver Giants. He says, Brody, you don't look too happy today.
No, I'm just tired as hell. We had that's kind of funny. Busy day at work yesterday. I was at work at the fire hall all day yesterday, and then we got about, I don't even know, man, like fucking 2.5 feet of snow, which was like super shitty. So trying to shovel the driveway and all that other jazz. And right before this, I was at the gym and then did groceries. So I'm just like burnt. I have a lot of shit to get done today. I'm a little bit behind. So yeah, no, I'm doing good. Just tired. really tired.
Anything else, Dark, you wanted to ask, or if not?
Yeah, so I'll go through this as quickly as I can because, like you said, you're a little burnt out here. But yeah, I do have one question. So, clarify a little bit for me here the playoff race for, I guess, the most confusing for the league. We went through the queue. Thankfully, we gave you guys some pictures, some visuals with that
Yep.
in the beginning
Yep.
of the season. But the ECHL. Um, Now, I've heard two different trains of thought with this. On the site, it currently shows 1 through 16 makes it, 17 and 18 don't. But I've also heard the theory that it's the top 8 from each division make it, as the site is not displaying.
I'm gonna look at this right now.
Yeah.
I think for some reason, I think I was supposed to fix this and I haven't done it yet. But I think, looking at it right now, yeah, it does show top.
We understand from
Okay.
talking to other
So,
people.
Part of me thinks,
top 8.
yeah. See, I think we've reached out to Therese a couple weeks ago to have it fixed so it looks like it's supposed to look like the Xbox One.
Okay.
So the Xbox One is top 8 per division.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what it is right now.
Okay, so that's where the confusion lies a little bit. So anyone who's listening and watching, that's on the Allen Americans and South Carolina Stingrays, pay attention. This affects you heavily. Your standings are wildly different. Yeah, that was just my question on
now,
that
does
one.
the bracket work the same way where East will play the top 8
Like,
in East and
if I look at it,
the top 8 main?
So if I look at it right now, if the playoffs started today, we'd probably go the Oilers versus the Wheeling Nailers, and then the Fuel are going to play the Gladiators.
Yeah.
Kansas City's going to play Fort Wayne, and then the Thunder are playing the Cyclones. And then on the east side, we'd have the Steelheads are going to play the Stingrays. Solar Bears are going to play the Kalamazoo. Utah Grizzlies from the NBA are going to play the Swamp Rabbits, and then the Walleye are going to play the Rush. That's how it would play out right now. I know it doesn't really show that on the other side because obviously it says now the Oilers are playing the Americans.
Right, we just want to make sure you clarified that ahead of time.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll fix this today. I actually have on my list of things to do is to put out all the breakdowns and put I moved the playoff rules a couple weeks ago so I could tweak a few things. I'm going to put all that out this week for everyone to see, but I'll make sure that I fix all of this so it actually shows that not as top 16, but it shows it as like 8 and 8.
Divisional, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. The last question about that I have, I guess, is playoff breakdown and format. I know it's coming out this week. I'm going to get something from KRT to release hopefully by next week. But since you're here, I figured I'd ask you, is it going to be on playoffs where there's 3-game Sunday as well?
I do not think so. I know we talked about this with staff a little bit. The problem too is like if you do 3 games in one day sucks because home ice is for the first 2 and the third game, right? Like that's what's kind of shitty. And then with the playoff rules being, you have to be available for 1 game in the first 4. I like spreading it over 2 days. It gives guys an option. If I'm working this day, I can play tomorrow. So what likely you'll see is you'll likely see 2, so 1 and 2 on Sunday, 3 and 4 on Monday, so that's home ice,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll see 5 and 6 on the Tuesday with the different line time, so the home team doesn't have to show before, you know what I mean, in Game 6.
Right.
So the different line time, and then 7 will be on the Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then
I'm more confused going forward about
the Memorial Cup too, I think is gonna be adjusted as well. I had some talks with the staff. So the Memorial Cup, what they're gonna do is the final. So the winners of all 4 leagues, so O, Q, the W, and then the ECHL. Mm-hmm. So those 4 winners get together, and instead of playing a round robin, they're gonna be seeded based on their seasonal finishes.
Right.
And then 1 will play 4, 2 will play 3, and I think those are gonna be best of 5s. So what'll likely happen
last year was the same thing. I think it was best of 5 last year as well.
Yeah, so it'll likely be how that might look will be so best of 5. You'll see 2 games Sunday, so home ice 2 games. Then you'll see 3 games on Tuesday, so it'll be 2 home ice and then a game 7 or like a game 5 final game. Which home ice doesn't matter; it's your best players are going to play anyways, right? So, and then the winners of those will then play obviously in the finals Memorial Cup. But that one is going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and they might do Thursday. So that one you might see a best of 7. You might see 2. Is
there a way to change that?
Or 2 to 5?
The semis and the final all in the same week. That was a problem.
No, we can't. The only problem with that is so when the only way I could do that is if I cut out 1 week of the season during the CHL season. Because all the leagues have to end at the same time in order for us to flip to the next season.
What if we made round 1 like best of 5?
Sorry?
Round 1 best of 5 and the rest best of 7. Would that play out differently or no?
No, because then you're still playing round 1 and round 2 in the same week.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, okay. It was the thing that was a problem last year that caused availability is why I kind of brought it up.
Yeah, so the only thing that really sucks with that is, like, I understand where it's coming from for availability. The problem is all the leagues have to end at the same time, so we can dump
That's
the
right.
rosters to move to the next season. So the AHL and NHL are held up if we go one more week. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah, it makes total sense. It makes total sense.
The only thing that sucks is like
Thursday shouldn't be a problem, considering it is in the Constitution that Thursday is a rescheduled night. Be ready to play in any Thursday possible.
Like realistically,
So
we'll see how this is going to play out. I wouldn't mind even in the summer season if we did like Sunday to Friday of that last week. Let everyone know like way early in advance. Like, listen, the Memorial Cup Finals, we're going to go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Mm-hmm. Just spread it all out. Everyone knows that like that's that many days. Here's the breakdown of how the series is going to look. Here's a breakdown of the games. So it gives players an opportunity to make themselves available, or give you as a manager an opportunity to know who is going to be available in advance to plan ahead for those things, right? So it's not just like, oh fuck, it's the playoffs. Oh fuck, it's the trade deadline's gone, and my best player can't play that last series anyways, or something. You know what I mean? So we'll see how this all plays out. We're hoping it'll play out decent, and then worst case, we'll go back to the drawing board with the managers for next season, and we'll look at the option of like, what does a Friday look like? You know, now Friday night puck and stuff seems to be relatively popular.
It does. I mean,
so
most guys have those days off and weekends off, right?
Maybe we could do a Friday night for the Memorial Cup if you guys are wanting to, and you know what I mean. We'll see, right?
Definitely. I just want to bring it up because it has been the thing that was asked again.
No, I totally get it. Like I said, it sucks because it's quick. You know, it's quick and dirty, and you know you have to have strong availability. The only thing I do like about it, I will say, is it really shows the teams that built based on availability and chemistry right? Because you build your team around having everyone can play at any given time, but guys that can play strongly together. Because when you get into the line matching, you know what? Some teams, a lot of the strong NHL teams will go, I'm going to throw my third line against your top line because my third line's pretty good shutdown. And if they steal a game, my top line's going to smash your second line. And then my second line's going to smash your third line in the series.
That was my theory last season. Bit me in the ass. So
I think that you know what? As much as it does get a little frustrating, it does really show the managers that are able to plan ahead and build the team based around chemistry and based 100%. Around people that are available. So 100%. I do like that aspect of it.
Okay, perfect. And then that's all I had for you. The question was anything else you want to bring up that we didn't talk about?
No, that's good. Sorry, I'm reading something right now.
Anything else?
No, that's great, man. Thanks for coming in. Obviously, huge help to give some of the managers
always.
Like ourselves
I love
and
having
the rest of the community. Yeah, a lot of.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like I said, you guys are. There's a lot of guys that are like you guys who've been around for a little while, have some experience. We have a lot of new guys, right? Have questions. They're like, I don't want to fuck this up. You know what I mean? So I definitely like to take the time to make sure at this tier everyone knows what's going on, because you know what? Some guys may want to stay at the CHL, which is totally cool. I like having the really strong, knowledgeable guys down here because you guys are shaping the future players, right? But some guys might want to move up. You know, they might want to move up to other tiers and be the future of the league. So it's nice to be able to get you guys early on, get you guys hooked to LG, get you guys understanding the rules and how things are supposed to go. So as you progress through seasons here, your experience is good, but you also really know what you're doing. So it makes my job and staff's job a lot easier. And once again, I say this often. I say it all the time, and I truly mean it. Like I've got about 165 PMs right now, just from yesterday and today. The door is always open. If you have a question, hit me up. You might not like the reply, but if you want to
delay in the reply, it might take you a week.
No, sorry about that. If you have something, if you need to know something, if you have a question, quick something, you need to be directed in the right direction. What part of the rules, who on staff to talk to, whatever. Definitely shoot me a message. I'll try my best to get to you as quickly as possible and direct you in the right way so you're on the path to success. I spend a lot of time on moving this league forward, and I kind of pride myself on trying to be as available and as as punctual and as just vocal with you guys as I can. So there's no secrets, no surprises.
Management get busy. We all understand it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So that's it, boys. That's all I got for you guys. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to put me on here again. And
I appreciate coming and having time for us. I know how busy you guys are with setting things up, changing things, and working the site. So it's great to have you available when you have time to be here. We would love to have you every day or every week if possible, but we know how it is.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
Yeah. But thanks a lot for coming on there. And we'll catch up with you a little bit later.
All right, sounds good, guys. Good luck to everyone heading to the playoffs. And again, there's an hour and 15 minutes to get your fucking trades in, so don't wait till the last minute.
Also, while I have you here, let's touch on All-Stars. Let's make sure we show up for our games, guys. No, show up, no awards.
Yeah, no, please. Like, these guys put a lot of work into picking the All Stars. It's a good recognition for those players that have, are really, really good, that really earned it this season. It also kind of gives you an opportunity to play with players that are high level skill, really get involved in a really high level skill game to get a feel what it's like, what some of the money series are like. So the top money games that we play here on LG, it's the best of the best playing 2-1 games, 3-1 games. So really get a feel for what it's like to play against other players that are equally as good as you. It's a good experience, makes you a better player. So show up to your games.
For sure.
All
Fair
right,
enough, buddy.
guys. Thanks a lot. Take her easy.
Yeah, you too.
All right, Dark. Before we continue here, Bri Fry asked a question.
Go ahead.
He asked how/when, so how or when,
Yep.
can we sign up for All-Star games for CHL? To answer that question a little more in depth, I guess, is we're waiting at least for the league to catch up. They've been busy all season. It will be done through all of SNP/FNP style, from what we understand, and there will be a sign-up page happen. The captains will be in control of it all. And they will get you into the games.
Yeah, basically what's going to happen is it's going to be similar to FNP SMP kind of setup where the captain's going to take the players and manually add them to the roster, sort of like you would in the LG CHL PSN where you play. You'll have the standard ability to sign up like you would for normal games, right? We're hoping to have those out to you very, very shortly, but I believe the captains have talked to you guys about when you are playing. If they haven't, we are doing one game on Thursday, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. The final one on Saturday being sort of TBD for who's playing it. It's going to be the best 2 records, kind of going to a head-to-head for
it's going to be like the champion round.
Yeah, but yeah, again, we'll be trying to get that out to you as soon as we can. Again, the Bogs have a lot of work to do, and unfortunately, we do have to rely on them
Monday,
to set this up.
Tuesday latest, we have this ready to go, and you guys have a locker room.
Exactly.
No promises, but we're hoping.
Yeah, for sure.
One more Dark quickly. Bell 87 asks, is there any way possible without playing? I responded, what do you mean by that? Bell again responded as, I don't want to play, but I can't see some forum posts on Shoutbox, but can't have an account without PS4 account. I don't follow that question 100%.
Yeah, so I know what he's trying to say. So his name's Bell. Bell, the issue you're running into here is LG won't allow you to see most of the stuff on the site unless you log into a League Gaming account. And I believe, for the most part, to make a League Gaming account, you have to have a PlayStation or Xbox gamer tag. If you don't have one of those things, I apologize. I think it's going to be difficult for you to gain access to some of the stuff you're looking at or looking for. Yeah, I mean, it's oriented around Xbox and PS4. So if you don't have one, it's sort of it's not inclusive to you, right? That's sort of where that's at. Do we have any other questions from the audience?
That's
cool. All right, so let's move ourselves along to the power rankings for Week 6. I'll kick us off here with the Who's Hot for the forwards. We got number 1 coming in here, Yee Dipper, taking top spot for the Pats, going 3-0 with 16 points, plus 9 in that center slot. Coming in number 2, we have Spokane Chiefs Heart Attack, going 3-0, 11 points, 9 goals, plus 8, also a center. And rounding out the top 3 for player awards is Noah Swick of the Brandon Wheat Kings, going 3-0, 19 points, 8 goals, plus 17, and also plays center. Congrats to these 3 guys for stepping up this week. Number 4, we got the Indy Fuels Iconic Crane, going with 16 points, 11 of those being goals, plus 13 as a left winger. Number 5, Brandon Wheat Kings Snipester, 16, 20 points, 8 goals, plus 17 in the right wing slot. Number 6, we got the Erie Otters Essa, 93, only playing 2 games but producing 10 points, 6 of which were goals, and a plus 7 in left wing. Number 7, we got Xenomorph of the Edmonton Oil Kings, going 2-1-0, 18 points, 8 goals, plus 12 for the left wing. Number 8, we got the Wheeling Nailers St. Louis Illusion, going 2-1, 14 points, 9 goals, plus 10, right winger. Number 9, Spokane Chiefs Reno 49, going 3-0, 13 points, 8 goals, plus 9, also a left winger. Last but not least, we got Regina Pats Sabu coming down from, I think it's the AHL?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Going 3-0, 15 points, 5 goals, plus 9 in the right wing. Congrats to these guys. Obviously had a great week. Looking over on that who's not side.
This is a tough one because to me, I see a lot of management here again, which worries me, buddy. I mean, you see Pog sitting here for the Moose Jaw Warriors. You see Kai Stu from the Islanders sitting here. Guys I don't expect being in those roles to be on the side. I mean, I've been management myself, and I'm a complete shitter. I suck worse than anybody else. And I have not made the Who's Not yet.
I've played with him, can confirm.
You're right. I mean, to see these guys sitting here as management really worries me a lot because I should be there and I haven't yet. So for you guys to make it, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening.
The one guy I want to point out here, and I was really excited, I'm a little disappointed, is I'll just call him Grimy because I don't like the back half of his name, is for the Portland Winterhawks. Now, I was a little disappointed. He went 0-3. He's got a career high of 2 wins in a season, and I was really curious if he could beat it this season. The Winterhawks ended up waiving him. He's no longer on their roster. I was really hoping, praying for this guy. He could break that personal record of 2 wins in a season, but alas, no such luck. But yeah, do you want to drag us on down to the who's hot for defense?
Not really, but I will do it. I'm just typing a message. Give me a minute, buddy.
Yeah. Do you want me to just run through it then?
No. I'm almost done.
Okay.
I'm just talking to BR49 here, talking smack, you know.
Oh, yeah. Pretty sure he's not on Vancouver, by the way.
No, he's not.
He's on Prince George, isn't he?
Which is bad. I mean, I know for a fact any ECHL team can take WHL, so it's just as bad. Whatever. Yeah, ECHL, I called you out now to make sure you smash WHL in playoffs. Coming number 1 for the defense coming here is Gray Ghost, 408 for the Storm. He must have ECU this week at 2-0. 5 points, 2 goals, +2 on lefty slot. Good for him. Number 2 overall, jumping from 71st, by the way, is Dr. Wally from the Shawinigan Knights. Holy cow. Shawinigan, with that girl is always out there stealing your pucks and maybe giving some tatty shots. Who knows? 3-0 this week, 7 points, 2 goals, +7 lefty slot. 3rd overall, jumping 70 spots is I'm not French. I'll give my best effort here, guys. Picuno. Sounds like Pikachu. We'll call him Pikachu. 74. 2 wins this week, 5 points, 0 goals, +5, playing lefty and the right D slot. I mean, showing he's versatile in both those games he played. Which is strong and a defensive guy you can ever ask for. Coming in next, the 4th overall is Bar Wydar B. Another nominee for All-Star there. 3 games this week as a winner. 6 points, no goals, +9 on the right D slot. 5th overall, we have Super Bong Bros. He thinks he's Mario, but he's too stoned to be it, so it's all right. 3 win this week, 5 points, 0 goals, +16 left D slot. Showing, again, for Drakkar there that he really has a chance to lock down some solid play and make sure they're staying in that top standing spot. 6th this week, coming from the 88th spot last week, is OO for X-00_81. Another 3-0 week, 5 points, 0 goals, +17. Again, showing he's versatile in both games, playing lefty and right D as well. Number 7 overall, we have a Dark Time. Shit on you, little buddy. Shit on you. No, I'm just kidding, buddy. I love you. 3-0, 5 points, 1 goal, +9 on the right D slot, coming out of the Walleye. And in this playoff time, it's good to see these guys really getting these top names coming in, and you know, showing why they deserve to be in these playoff spots, because the Walleye definitely are not out of the running. And
they're firmly in a playoff spot.
Definitely, and this is a good reason why. And showing their top 7 this week. Yeah, hopefully you guys jump higher next week, but this week for sure being top 7 shows why you deserve to be there. 8th overall, after a rough 3 or 4 weeks on the 67s, it comes Quacksmacker. 3-0 this week, 6 points, 1 goal, +4 on lefty slot. The 67s have jumped up from a non-playoff team to a playoff team the past 3 weeks, and just dominating their side. We'll get that more when we get into the standings, obviously. Number 9th overall and 10th, we have 2 Drakkars coming in, Steiny and Cake Kip coming in at 2-0 and 3-0 for Steiny and Cake Kip. 2 points for Steiny, 3 for Cake Kip. No goals by any of them. +4 for Steiny, +10 for Cape Kip. Steiny playing just the right D slot, and Cape Kip showing he can play both sides universally on the left D, right D slot. coming in on the who's not, buddy. Who the hell do you got for us?
Well, looking through this list, I see a nibbling walrus down there, 0-3 with a -12. I mean, a little surprising. I mean, a little rough being on the Armada, who are not having the greatest season, but I've known him to be at least a half decent defenseman. A little unfortunate for him. Outside of that, nothing too crazy that I'm seeing. I mean, you look at someone like Fook Donald Trump, who's been bounced around. I don't know how many times this season. Not having a great go of it either, but honestly, not too many names that jump off the page to me here.
I'm just looking at myself, kind of glancing right now. I don't really, again, I agree with you. I don't see a lot. Yeah, I honestly don't see. I mean, I guess Wizard and Black. I mean, he's had a really good season. I mean, I wouldn't say great, but it hasn't been bad. And to see him go 0-3 this week to me is a standout. Playing for the
Portland.
Winterhawks, right? Winterhawks. And he was recently a Maverick and had a mediocre season there. So to come here and go 0-3 makes me wonder: was it his play this week, or was it the team he was on to help carry maybe a little bit in the future weeks? I'm undecided.
This is hard to judge. I mean, the Winterhawks did go winless last season, I believe, or last week rather.
Last week they did, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's hard to judge, right? But
it's hard to judge. I don't want to call him out for, but I guess the future will tell more what he's all about.
Yeah.
But he has had the mediocre season going through with the Mavericks.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you want to start off the top 5 in the team rankings?
I'll do the goalies first.
Oh shoot! I missed goalies. Did I jump that, Maddie? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Nature's calling me, and I need to go use nature, so I'm just kind of rushing. I guess I go do goalies. Now back for the rankings.
Yep.
And for who's not.
Sure. Okay, so coming in top spot, guys, we got Vulgar Gentlemen of the aforementioned Toledo Walleye. They're starting to step up their game and catch up in the standings a little bit here after a bit of a rough start. He went 6-0, faced 78 shots. Not a crazy shot total for 6 games, but still pretty good. 1.17 goals against average and a 91.81 shutout. Taking top spot, winning goalie of the week. Congrats to you there, Vulgar. Coming to number 2, we got Hawks Champ 2010 for your Jakar. Filling in what I assume as an ECU, going 2-0. 0.5 goals against, only facing 15 shots in those 2 games, so the defense was obviously pretty solid in front of him, putting up a 93.8 and 1 shutout. Not earning a player of the week, probably because of the lack of games played. Coming to number 3, we got JB23 of the Pats, who went 4-0 with a 1.25 goals against, a 91.1 and 1 shutout, taking second spot for player of the week. Number 4 on our list here, and winning third spot for player of the week is Crawling Bacon of the Oceanic, going 5-1, a 1.32 goals against, 92.4 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. Congrats to the 3 guys who made it on the player of the week list here. Coming in number 5, we got D. Higgs, another Drakkar player, going 3-0. Posting a even 1 goals against, 91.2% save percentage, and 1 shutout. And that's our top 5 for the week. Congrats to these guys who made the list, and keep up the good work. Coming in for the who's not side, again, we hit this point in the season where it's not tremendously surprising to see some of these players, some of these teams are starting to struggle. I mean, maybe one surprising guy is Tigers for the Vancouver Giants. I don't know him personally, but I know the Giants are firmly in a playoff spot. So to see a guy like that go 0-5 with above 5 goals against per game, below 70% save percentage, I mean, a bit surprising. I don't know if he was used as a new player, brought in a trade, but the Giants generally are pretty solid. I'm surprised to see.
They generally have a solid team, right, buddy? I mean, I was going to call it high voltage 34 again. Second time this season to call him out. I know he's better than what he's showing. To see him go again 0-3 with 5 goals against is not the goaltender I'm used to seeing out of him. He's definitely usually this lockdown playoff style goaltender.
I will agree, but again, you look at some of the teams he's been on. I think he was both on the Owen Sound Attack and the Kelowna Rockets, from what I remember. Both not teams in playoff spots currently. You wonder if that's part of it. Maybe some defensive lapses.
Very possible.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, I mean, again, best of luck to these guys the rest of the way. Hopefully they can kind of sort their shit out, whether it's the team or their own gameplay, and get rocking and rolling and make
And
a
just trying
final
to get it
playoff push.
rocking, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. From
Um,
there, buddy, I'm going to jump us on to the team rankings here, top
Yep.
5. I'll bust that out. I'll let you finish
Sure.
off with the last 5, if you don't mind
yeah,
that.
go ahead.
I mean, again, you got to mention the team who stayed solid for like how many weeks in a row is 6,
Yeah.
right? So kind of awesome. We're going to come in first overall this week with Drakkar, 8-0-1 this week with 38 goals for, 10 goals against, a plus 20 in the goal differential, 58 shot differential, 25% on the power play, 84.2 in the PK, showing the dominancy in both the power play or the PPP and PPPK aspects. 11.28 goals against average, so our TOA average, sorry. So it's about 11.5 we'll round up to on the time attack difference. And the jumping from first to 20 from 24th last week, that's a huge climb. Not our highest climb of the week at this point, but still a huge climb going
sure.
26 spots
Well,
to first.
and you look only letting 10 goals in 9 games. I mean, that's impressive.
I mean, that's under a goal a game, right? So that's really, really impressive.
Just over a goal.
Just
a game,
over a goal, I guess.
Yeah,
1.1, I would say.
Yeah.
If I had to do a off the top of the head percent stat. Number 2, we have the Olympics coming in 8-1 or 6-1-1 this week, which is only 8 games. So I'm assuming there's a forfeit that happens somewhere in that category. But that's just me speculating again. 35 goals for, 14 goals against, plus 21 in the goal differential, plus 67 in the faceoff draw, which is our highest in the top 10 in shot differential. Sorry. The highest still in shot differential this week is from the Olympics. 22.7% PP, 69.2 on the PK, and plus 3 in the faceoffs, which is mediocre at best. It's not the greatest. You want a little higher if possible. You're still showing great dominance at 14.5 minutes on TOA. And jumping again from 45th to 2nd this week with a 43rd spot jump, which is still not our highest this week.
Yeah, and for the Olympics, I mean, 69% on the PK, as fun of a number that is, it's not a good
It's
one.
not ideal. I mean, you do the math in general. 69 plus 22 puts you about 91, 91.9.
Yeah. Well, really, honestly, you don't want to be below. I really don't think you should be below 80% on the PK in general. 1 in 5 is where you kind of want to be, and being
just over half is not ideal. So you got to lock that down a little better, especially becoming the playoffs. You want to lock that down a little better, or get you guys to stay at a box. One of the two.
Exactly.
Coming in third overall, we have 67s coming in at 7-2 this week, just showing a monster past 2 or 3 weeks. When they were at one point considered one of the weaker teams in their division, now showing they're actually a threat. By still climbing every single week. 41 goals for, 14 against, the plus 27 goal differential, plus 49 in shot differential, 30.8 in the PP, and 88.9 in the PK, a plus 22 in the faceoffs, and 907 in time attack. So they're about a minute per game extra in time attack. So they're not putting a lot of pressure, but they're showing that they can hang in a little better than other teams are.
Yeah, for sure. And again, these guys have been climbing week by week, and
week by week, definitely.
And this is where the playoff jockeying kind of comes into play, right? Where if you're a top seeded team, you probably don't want to face the 67s because while they are the lower seeded team and don't have home ice advantage,
they are showing that they're dominant right now.
Yeah, they're on a roll, and they've got something to prove.
Definitely. Fourth overall, we have the Chiefs coming in a 7-1 week. 37 goals for, 22 against, only a plus 15, plus 8 in the shot differential. So they're not out shooting their opponents by much, but they are finishing more often than the opponent is, obviously, by looking at this. 26.7 on the PP and 80% on the PK, only a plus 5 on the face-off differential. Again, they're mediocre on that draw. They got to win. As long as they're winning, I guess, the face-offs in the majority of the main situations, like on a PK or last-minute goal on their zone. That's what matters, I guess. 10.50 on the time attack differential, jumping from 13th to 4th this week. So a definitely 9-spot climb. Fifth overall from my side, buddy, we have the Cataras coming in. Swinning girl definitely showing her boobies this week, making sure that they're hyped and ready to go at 8-1. 33 goals for, 19 goals against, plus 14, plus 62 in the shot differential. Second place for a highest shots in the top 10. Power play percentage of 35.0 and a PK at 78.8, plus 30 on the faceoff draw, which I believe is our highest percentage of faceoff percentage winnage by 1 over Drakkar. And I think leading our whole thing in TOA at 24-41 TOA.
Yeah,
jumping
numbers.
It is jumping 29 spots this week from fifth or from 34th to fifth.
Hmm.
So I mean, a huge climb by them, and great on them to go 8-1. Shawinigan lady definitely doing her job out there
Yeah, for sure. Coming in taking sixth spot for what's the
again
third
for like
week?
4 weeks in a row.
Yeah, the Cape Breton Screaming
First
Eagles, who went.
I knew we touched base, but for you go on by a minute, I mean they're 9-0 this week. It's weird to see them not jump from six.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe there was an overturned game. I don't know, but
Could be the schedule, so maybe it was a bottom feeding schedule, which made it not as high. But I
yeah.
mean, it's still staying six for 4 weeks is
Mhm.
phenomenal feat.
For sure, but yeah, going undefeated, putting up 38 goals, only allowing 19 in, obviously plus 19 on the differential, plus 40 on the shot differential, 30% on the power play, 87.5 on the PK, 16 on the faceoffs, and a positive 16.29 for time on attack differential, and not moving for the last few weeks. Obviously, still having a great season. This is sort of the everyone's pick out of the queue, right? So for them, it's just a matter of getting to the dance and showing what they can do. Coming in number 7 here, we got the Lethbridge Hurricanes going 8-1, putting up 37 goals, 25 against for a plus 12 in the goal differential, plus 17 shot differential, 33.3 on the power play, but only a 73.7 on the PK. Not great. Negative 10 on the faceoff, and only 629 on the time on attack differential. So obviously capitalizing when they do get the puck. Jumping up our biggest jump, I believe. Oh, no, it's not. Second biggest jump from 59th to 7th. Congrats to the Hurricanes. Coming in number 8 here, the Swamp Rabbits coming in with their second straight 7-2 week. Putting up 40 goals, allowing 25 for a plus 25 goal differential, plus 53 in the shots, 30.3 on the power play, 90.9 on the PK. So solid special teams numbers. Negative 38 on the faceoffs is a little bit worrying. Might want to mess with some new traits. Um, Positive 925 on the time on attack. So not crazy dominant when it comes to face-offs or managing possession, but are doing a very good job of capitalizing on the power play and not letting anything in when they do go down a man.
For sure, for sure.
Dropping from 3rd to 8th this week, but back-to-back 7-2 weeks, allowing them to climb up in that ECHL standing. Coming in number 9, we got the Brandon Wheat Kings, also going 7-2, putting up 40 goals, only allowing 21 for a plus 19, plus 39 in the shot differential, 36.8 on the power play, 95% on the PK, which is solid. Plus 28 on the faceoffs, and 16 minutes positive time on attack, dropping from 4th to 9th this week, but obviously still chugging along really well. Taking in our last spot for the top 10, and the biggest climber of the week is the Indy Fuel. Going 6-3, 39 goals for, 19 against for a plus 20, plus 10 in the shot differential, 27.6 on the power play, 73.3, so a little lackluster on the PK. Pretty dead even with a plus 4 on the faceoffs. Positive 14 time on attack is solid, but jumping from 69th to 10, that is a huge climb. Congrats to these guys for turning a rough week last week into a good one this past week. So yeah, that's our top 10 for the teams. We're going to switch over to our standings race.
Yes. Do you want to start off with
Sure.
first league while I finish typing? I'm just writing McDonald a message here.
Yeah, no
As we're
problem.
going forward here.
So we got the QMJ West race with the Warriors holding top spot here, going 31-17-6 on a one-game losing streak, 68 points, only plus 8 in the goal differential, some really tight games. And going 16-3-6 in those one-goal games, they are winning the majority when they are closer than others. Coming in number 2 is the Gatineau Olympique, who are tied with Val-d'Or for 68 points on a one-game winning streak, so trying to turn that around and catch up. They hold identical records. The only difference is the Olympiques have a better goal differential with plus 48, and are also fairly dominant in the one-goal games. And then looking at the rest of this division, the Huskies sitting 6 points back. It's going to be tough to try and vie for that divisional spot without two really solid weeks and a bit of slip up from the Olympics and Val-d'Or. And last but not least in this division is the Armada, sitting at 25 points, now 16 points out of a playoff spot. the odds of them making it are slim to none. But we'll see if they can't get lucky and basically basically the Islanders have to go winless and they have to go 18-0 over the next 2 weeks. We'll see how it goes, right?
I'm back
But
now, buddy, as well. So,
these top three teams have all clinched a playoff spot, as most of the queue has. So for Valdor, for the Olympics, and for the Huskies, they're getting into the playoffs now, which is a question of jockeying for where you're going to face. Are you going to have home ice advantage?
for sure. Yeah, exactly.
Moving on to the next division is the QMJ Maritimes. Taking top spot and has been holding his spot for quite a while. Now has a 15-point lead on
Yeah, it is.
on Drakkar. More than likely finishing top in the queue and facing whoever finishes 16th down there. 44-4-6 on a 12-game winning streak, plus 121 goal differential. 12-1-6 in the one-goal game. So I mean, in general, just dominant. Not too much to be said about these guys. We've touched upon it all season long. The interesting stuff comes for Cape Breton when it comes to the actual playoff series.
Definitely.
Coming in
And
ticket
what
number
we all do, obviously, right? So
coming in ticket number 2 spot here is the Halifax Moosehead, 33.
which I don't see them catching the Eagles.
No, I mean,
I think Eagles are going to take the seed.
22 points out, not a chance.
Yeah, I mean, unless they really go unbelievable 9-0 for 2 weeks straight, and then Breton going 0-9.
Yeah, that's pretty much what needs to happen at this point. Yeah. But the positive 31 goal differential, 15-4-6, playing a lot of one goal games, but obviously winning the majority of them. The positions here for the division are fairly locked up. You look, there's 22 points between first and second, another 8 points between second and third. It's going to be pretty much.
And 9, 3rd, and 4th.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of a gap between each.
It's pretty much
spot.
the lock at this point. Unless
I don't see too much movement happening here. But again, the top 3 teams here have already clinched a playoff spot. In all likelihood, the Saguenay's will also clinch.
It's going to be the 4th and 5th that may jockey, but I don't see it happening.
No, again, a 9-point difference this late in the season.
Yeah, I just don't see it at this point in time.
Yeah. Moving on to the QMJ East, we got Drakkar taking top spot here, 36-11-7 on a 1-game winning streak, 79 points, plus 74 in the goal differential, and 10-4-7 in the 1-goal games. So fairly even for 1-goal games played. Holding only holding a 7-point lead on the Rimouski Oceanic, who are 33-16-4 on a 4-game winning streak with a plus 44 goal differential and 12-3-4 in their 1-goal games. 7-point gap. I mean, it's not out of the question. You move on to number 3 and number 4. Those are pretty firmly squared away with an 11-point lead.
They're pretty,
and
another hard to argue
10-point lead. Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be too much jockeying here. The only 2 teams I could see is the Oceanic and Drakkar battling, but Drakkar had another solid week, so the odds are they're going to maintain that pace, and these standings will stay pretty much where they're at. And last but not least, they're QMJ Central. Shawinigan holding top spot there with a record of 36-14-4, 76 points, 4-game winning streak, positive 60 goal differential, and 10-4-4 in the 1-goal games, holding a 6-point lead on the second place Drummondville Volts, who are 33-17-4 on a 1-game losing streak, 70 points.
37. There really spreads out a lot.
Yeah, so these 2 teams, again, 6 points isn't crazy. I mean, you could see some jockeying. They both have clinched a playoff spot, so the odds
for sure it's definitely not bad, but from second to third, it's a huge spread.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, right? It's going to be a matter of Victoriaville and Sherbrooke
definitely
battling more than it will be. Yeah, these are kind of divided into 2 sections: 1 and 2 battling, and 3 and 4 kind of battling.
But in my eyes, if Victoriaville can go at least 5-4 this week, that they're going to lock their spot in.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, I don't see much for the QMJ race changing. I mean, 16th place has a 16-point lead. Like this is the playoff picture, guys. These 16 teams are making it. It's just who goes where and who faces who. That's it.
Exactly. Now I'm going to make a bold prediction here in the QMJ right now for playoffs coming through. As much as the Eagles have been dominating, I think they're going to buckle.
Okay.
They're going to buckle in playoffs.
What round do you think?
In the semis. The semis are going to buckle.
That's what you're saying. Third round.
Third round. Yeah, they're going to buckle.
Okay. Okay.
They're going to buckle in third round, and they're going to lose out. I'm going to say this is where it gets tough. This is where I got to be bold, and I'm going to say that the 67s actually marched their way through.
That would be the fourth
It's
round.
wrong league. That's wrong. Hold
Yeah,
on.
I was like, that'd be the fourth round.
Hold on. That's fourth round. So we're gonna step back. I'm gonna stick with that actually. Fourth round.
Okay, so fourth round exit to the Ottawa
round
67s.
Against the Eagles.
All right, cool.
And the Eagles are gonna lose.
Nitrate.
That is my prediction.
Yeah, Nitrate with a game-winning goal. Let's see a goalie goal. Let's do it.
There we go. That's my prediction. I know I jumped leagues there, but that's my prediction.
Okay, fair enough. All right, do you want to take us over to the WHL?
We are going to WHL right now, buddy. We're going to jump on that first of all with the Brandon Wheat Kings coming in at 41-11 dominant season. I mean, how do you not say that with only 11 losses on regulation time? 4 overtime wins, 2 overtime losses, a 2-game win streak, 84 points, 113 goal differential. I mean, that's just showing their dominance right there alone. You break that down even by games played at 54, you're still looking at about 2.5 goals a game. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's dominance. I mean, obviously there's more per game than that, but they've had obviously the 1-goal games who have faltered for them as well. Coming in at 6-5 and 2 in the 1-goal games. So they haven't really dominated 1-goal games, but when they are winning, and it's not like it's a breeze.
No, honestly, I mean, you look at these guys and 225 goals for. They're very much offense first. So if you can get them into a defensive first kind of game, that's where you're going to be able to beat them.
Now, they have obviously first, especially in the division, if not in the league, locked in my mind. I mean, it's going to be a race for the Silvertips, obviously, for that. I think they're going to lock it in. I think they're taking first overall when it comes to the end of week 8. But I got to look at the PA here, the Prince Albert Raiders, and I've watched a lot of the tape. Man. And them being second, I find it really iffy. They do the same play day after day. I'm not going to call it out, but if you guys can't watch the tape yourselves and realize what they're doing, then you deserve to lose to them. But if you watch the tape, you should beat them every game. That's my breakdown.
Well, that being said, they do have a 7-point lead on the Moose Jaw Warriors, and chances are they're probably going to keep that second spot sealed up.
I mean, they're on a 4-game losing streak, though.
Sorry?
They're on a 4-game losing streak. 4 games,
for sure.
Down to 2.
Yeah,
in a row. That worries me, and that worries me because of the play style. It's the same play for every goal they score. So that worries me. Can they fix that? Can they be more universal? Can they be more creative? That's what's going to matter in playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
If they can't fix that, they're not going to make it anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we'll see. It's worked ththus far for them this season.
It has so far, obviously, except for this week going 5-4, I think, because they went 4 games to loss.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say 5-4. I'm just guessing at this point in time. But still 27 goals differential and a 10-3 and 5 1-goal games. So they are showing they can close out 1-goal games with some authority, if not at least getting a point. Moose Jaw Warriors, I faltered themselves this season, falling down to third. They were neck and neck with first for like 2-3 weeks, and now have fallen down, fighting for that third spot with the Pats, and almost with the Blades, and almost with the Broncos, considering there's only a 5-game differential. So if any one of the Blades, the Broncos, or the Pats can go 6-3 or 5-4, where the Moose Jaws go worse, they could potentially climb and take over their spot in third. So Moose Jaw has been worrying me as of late.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the Pats and Blades are their 2 big concerns, right? Being only 3 and 5 points back.
For sure.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, especially because the Pats did get a pretty solid send down to them this week, and obviously went on a pretty good run.
Did. I mean, getting Sabu is huge for them, and I think they help them a lot on their win-loss ratio, having him there. It's almost like 3 guaranteed wins having Sabu play, but I'm not trying to put pressure on him either by saying that. It could go either way depending on how the games play out and how EA wants to favor it. But I think that definitely Moose is in trouble with the Pats and possibly the Blades even of taking over their spot with how they've fallen in the past 4 weeks. 3 weeks, I guess. Almost 4. We'll find out this week if it's actually 4 weeks in a row that they falter. But within saying that, Pats and the Moose Jaw Warriors both at 60 and 57 points, 10 and 7 points out of PA. Moose Jaw with a 20 goal against difference, where the Pats only have +8 difference in goal differential, and the 1-goal games 9-7-6 for the Warriors, or 12-7-3 for the Pats. The Pats definitely showing they can gain a point almost every time in a 1-goal game
Hmm.
compared to the Warriors.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So that could play huge. I mean, really, all they need is 7 games in overtime to climb.
Hmm.
So I mean, and for Moose to lose in overtime or to lose in regulation, and Pats just do that, that's going to put them in second. And being the Pats or the PA, sorry, and the Pats a 2-game win streak, PA is a -4 on the win column, and Pats are 1 game. It does show it's possible that this jump could happen.
Yeah, for sure.
But how likely? We'll see how the PA and the Warriors do this week. Next week will be more of a definitive battle. I'm sure these three are going to jockey this week, and it's going to be a battle next week for the last lock.
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely.
Definitely. Going to the WHL Central, we got a little more of a spread here where a little more dominancy has played in, but we've still got a battle in between second and third. We have Red Deer Rebels coming in 73 points, 35 wins, 16 losses, 2 overtime wins, 3 overtime losses, 2-game win streak, 59 goals for in the differential, and a 12-6-3 1-goal game advantage. So they definitely are closing out a little more than anybody else in the WHL right now in the 1-goal games, showing that they are not someone to sleep on in 1-goal games. So we'll see if that keeps continuing for them. That 2-game win streak is probably the highest. Yeah, it is the highest in the Central Division. Close behind-ish, but not really behind-ish, is the Medicine Hat Tigers at 32-23-2 in overtime. 1-game win streak, 34 goal differential, 11-5-2 in the 1-goal game. So a little better in that 1-goal game, mastered by 1 game. It's not a big, huge difference, but it could be enough to make him maybe make an edge to stay in second place. I don't see him climbing to first. I don't see him taking it over. But they're in a tight battle, in my opinion, with the Hurricanes here, who have been on a roll this week. I know they're on a 1-game losing streak, but I believe they had a really good 6-3, if not 7-2 week this week, if I recall going backwards. If you want to double check that for me, that'd be appreciated.
Yeah, I can peek real quick. They
Perfect.
actually went 8-1. So
Who did?
Hurricanes went 8-1.
8-1. So I mean, losing the 1 game doesn't worry me too. I knew it was something good like that. It doesn't worry too much. And being behind by 5 points, if they can do it again, or at least once in the next 2 weeks, they're going to climb and take the second spot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm really looking at. How good does this 5-point spread happen between Medicine Hat and the Hurricanes? But looking at the 4 spot, it's kind of a huge spread between the Ice and the Hitman. I don't see the Oil Kings losing out of it. I think they're going to take the wild card spot if the Broncos falter. But we'll get to that in a minute about the Broncos. I don't see it happening, but it's possible. I thought the Oil Kings would be a little more than they were this week. I called it last week. They'd be better than 500. And they aren't. They aren't. They made some trades. They lost some guys. And they are still below 500. So my call and prediction last week was total bullshit. Hate on me. But that's what happened. So, I mean, we look at Hurricanes here. They're coming in 61 points, 5 points behind the Medicine Hat Tigers, 1-game losing streak, but still 8-1 this week with their 20 goal differential and 11-1 in 1-goal games. So they're showing that in 1-goal games, you could probably take them to the edge.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's going to be a tough race, these last few spots, battling it out for third and second.
Definitely. And now my main focus really, buddy, in this category is looking at the Oil Kings. 52 points. They are 2 points ahead of the Broncos for the last playoff spot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the Oil Kings got to worry about. Can they jockey to maintain that, considering they're still under 500? The only team in the playoffs hitting in on the WHL side who are under 500. Can they jockey and make it better to be more secure in that category?
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be an interesting race in the W. There's some gaps there, right? But we'll see how it folds out in the next.
I mean, I got to correct myself. I said we'd go back to the Broncos race in a minute, but I obviously passed them in the East already. So I'm going to bring it up how they're only 5 points behind the Blades.
No, we talked about them.
We did, but I didn't bring up the playoff race with the Kings with them at that point in time. So I'm just bringing that up now that they are a 2-game win streak compared to the Oil Kings' 1-game win streak. The goal differential is not much, 18 to negative for the Oil Kings and negative 20 for the Blades. But the 1-goal games definitely favors the Oil Kings in this category. So that could be the differential in this playoff jockey.
Mm.
So we're going to move forward here, buddy, at this point in time to the BC division, to these lucky Cougars, who to me, I don't think they deserve to be here.
Okay, hot take.
That's a hot take. I just think seeing them playing against them, they've had some lucky breaks. Watching their tape, they've had some lucky breaks. Watching their past games for top plays of the week, they've had some lucky EA stuff happen for them. And that's why I say they don't deserve to be here, but they're here. So we can't discredit that at all. I just think that they've gotten lucky. But within saying that, they are on a 5-game win streak, the only win streak at all in the BC division, with 51 goals for, a 33-18 win-loss record, 4-3 in overtime, 51 goals differential, and 12-10-3 in 1-goal games. So I'm going to maintain my bold prediction. The Cougars may be up there, but they're going to choke in playoffs because they've gotten lucky. And that's it. They've gotten lucky.
Yeah, I can't speak to that. I think that putting up a decent record so far, good for them. I mean, we'll see how they fare when
I'm
it
not
comes to
trying to
playoffs.
shit them at all. I just think they've gotten lucky, which is why my prediction is where it's at. It's based upon videotape and luck. Nothing really fancy has happened. Nothing really skillful has happened for these wins. It's been a lot of luck. That's where I'm coming from. And you know what? Bring me the hate mail. I don't mind because that's my prediction, and we'll see how far that goes in playoffs.
For sure. But I mean, you've got the Giants and the Blazers tight there with 61 points each, right?
They are both tied. Yeah. I mean, you got that coming. And the Giants of themselves have not been no joke of a team either, with only 4 games behind in the loss record.
Yeah.
And still basically the same overtime loss record, but I guess they have one more game played overtime, so they're 5-3 except for 4-3 for the Prince George Cougars. So it's not much difference.
No, it's really not. I mean, even the Royals are tight in there, right? Like, I think the only team that's
the Royals
out of the question.
suffered from getting rid of Formalists.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't understand that move. I don't get it, and I've heard them since. To me, it was a bad move, but they are not far out at this point in time from being third in the division, being only 4 points out. So they still have a climb to do, but it's not an impossible climb. And if I look at the playoff bracket, it still keeps in a playoff spot. They're still above 500. So obviously what they've done didn't hurt, but didn't really push them higher either.
Yeah, I'll agree. But yeah, that's pretty much. Oh, sorry, we still have the U.S. division.
The WHL USC division. Yeah, I know I'm being long-winded, buddy, but I'm trying to break down basically hitting playoffs. I'm trying to be a little more predictive and a little more analysis.
Okay.
Being the last week of regular season.
Sure.
So I'm trying to be a little more of a, I guess, a DICKE or DDICKIE Dicky. WHL US division. We have the Silver Tips. Obviously, in my mind, they're going to take the first spot this season in the WHL. They have a huge climb on the Rebels, but only a 1 point in Silver Tips. I'm going to retract that statement. I think the Silver Tips will actually retain and take first place.
Okay.
I see it coming. I don't know why, but they've had a rough few seasons, and then they're due for a solid top season. I think they're getting the banner this year. They're going to take it. But speaking of that, they're 42-11, 4-1 in overtime, 85 points, -2 on the street column. But let's just ignore that for now. 87 goal differential, 16-4 in 1-goal games, showing you do not want to play 1-goal games. If you battle them, you're probably going to lose.
Yeah, for sure.
We have next, not far behind, but far enough behind where they're not taking first in the WHL US division, which is the Americans, who had a rough season last year, kind of where Seattle was last year, or this year, I mean. That's where the Americans were last year. This year, it's a complete reversal. You look at Seattle, 13 wins. Americans at 31.
Mm-hmm.
That's a complete reversal of the Americans' record last year.
Yeah, no, they've done a good job, and they've, Slow Death March is a really good guy. He came on and talked to us
He's
about it,
done
and
a
he's done a
bang up
really good
job this
job of,
year. His management core he
yeah.
picked this year definitely helps him a lot. I know he told me earlier in this season that he kind of let his GM be the bidder and be the runner of the team, and he kind of just stood back and let him do his thing this year instead of trying to be the main guy.
Mm.
And it really has worked for him. It's, considering his time wasn't as much this year, he kind of let the GM run things more than usual, and it has worked. Again, they're 31-14 this season, 4-9 overtime. They gotta fix that a little bit. They gotta win those 1-goal games. Losing 9 overtime is not helping you, especially come playoff time. You gotta pick that up, buddy. A 1-game win streak, plus 35 in the goal differential, and 11-4-9 in 1-goal game differentials. Besides that, we have the Chiefs right behind them, a little bit, 5 points behind at 31-19, 8-4 in overtime, 1-game losing streak, 21 goals for, and 11-7 and 4 in the 1-goal game aspects. With Portland behind them at 42 points, I know Portland is running for a playoff spot, but I
It's
don't
not
see that
happening.
happening. I think
No.
they are done. And if they're going to make a move to help guys in playoffs, now's the time.
Yeah, I mean they're 10 points out, right? Odds are pretty slim against them. Um,
100%.
going 0-9 last week really hurt them.
Yeah, it did. And my bold prediction is for the WHL, buddy. I'm going to make it now. But before we even hit week 8, I'm making it now. But I'll do a better one as we hit, obviously, in playoff race. But my bold prediction right now is Silvertip State number 1. And then they actually march on to the semis.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it's a hot take, but it's a take. I'll throw out a bold prediction for you guys here. I think with some of the changes that have happened, I think the Rebels aren't going to make it as far as some of these other divisional winners. That's my take. I think they're going to get bounced second, third round.
I think Silvertips are going to end up playing the ECHL in round 4 or 5, is it?
Okay,
4, right?
it's 4. Yeah. Well,
4.
potentially. It depends on who seeds up against the ECHL.
And at this point in time, I'm going to break this down on a bold prediction of the ECHL side, which I got to stick through and truthful when I hit the HL, obviously. I'm going to say that's either going to be the Wings or the Fuel that are playing them in that semifinal.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to argue. That gives me some mad props, but I'm sure.
I just think the Oilers and Steelheads have got the Eagles in the Discord, and it's going to make them fall apart. And
We'll see,
they're
right?
not the teams they were in the first 4 weeks.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, we'll see. All right, so let's move ourselves on to the OHL race here. Coming in with the OHL Eastern East is the Peterborough Petes taking top spot, 36-13-5, 77 points, 4-game winning streak, and a plus 74 goal differential, 12-4-5 in 1-goal games. Really solid, firmly seeding themselves as the top team after a really strong start by the Hamilton Bulldogs. The roles have kind of reversed. The Bulldogs started to slow down a little bit. Sitting 5 points back of the Petes now on a 1-game win streak, plus 38 goal differential, and 15-6-2 in the 1-goal games. I mean, obviously the race isn't done, but it's spreading out. It seems the Petes are pulling away a little bit more. Only 5 points back of the Bulldogs is the Frontenacs with 67 points on a 2-game winning streak, plus 34 goal differential, and 11-7-3 in the 1-goal games. And the aforementioned Ottawa 67s, who've pulled themselves into a playoff spot and pushing further and further up in the standings, trying to chase some of these teams ahead of them like Kingston. And again, I don't know if I'd want to face these guys in the first round. Like you look, I think for example, right now it would be the Bulldogs versus the 67s if the playoffs started today. And that's a really tough matchup for the Bulldogs. That is a team that's definitely got a chip on its shoulder and looking to make some noise. And then you got Oshawa Generals down at the bottom there, pretty firmly in a playoff spot, holding a 16-point lead on the Wolves. So chances are they're making the playoffs as well. So this whole division is just going to be kind of a question of jockeying who seeds where, not so much if they make it or not. Coming in for the OHL Eastern Central, the forever leading this division, Niagara Ice Dogs, and I believe leading the league, or did the Screaming Eagles actually passed them. The Niagara Ice Dogs, who are 44-8-2, 90 points, 1-game winning streak, plus 156 goal differential. I believe they've scored the most goals and allowed the least amount of goals in the entire CHL, which is quite impressive. And are 7-4-2 in one goal games. So if you can keep them tighter, I mean that's probably your best bet, but a very dominant team out there. I know they've lost some players in the last few weeks, just kind of call ups and trades and stuff. But interested to see what they will be doing in their playoff run now that they've clinched. Coming in number 2 and sitting, 25 points back of them, not catching them, is the North Bay Battalion, who are 31-20-3, 3-game winning streak, plus 38 goal differential, and 14-10-3 in the 1-goal games. Holding a 15-point lead on the third place team, which is Mississauga, who has 51 points. Again, these 3 teams are all pretty much assured to make it, being that the Colts and the Wolves are 10 and 14 points out, respectively. The OHL, again, I view as kind of locked up at this point. Unless we see some huge climbs or some huge falls, it's going to be pretty much these 8 teams. It's just a matter of who faces who and who gets home ice advantage. Now moving on to the west side, we got the OHL Western Midwest. The Erie Otters, who I believe have been holding this division lead for quite a while. 37-13-4 on a 1-game losing streak, 78 points, plus 48 goal differential, and are 17-2-4 in the 1-goal games. Holding a, 19-point lead, 21-point lead on the Guelph Storm, who are 26-23-5 on a 2-game losing streak, only plus 4 goal differential, and 9-6-5 in the 1-goal game. So very middle of the pack across the board in terms of stats. Like everything's very evenly matched for who they play against. Below that, by 4 points, is the Kitchener Rangers. You have the London Knights and the Owen Sound Attack, who are sitting bottom of the OHL in general. Probably not going to make it. I think their season's just about done at this point. But hopefully they can, rally and maybe pick up some pieces after this and go at it next year if the management does decide to return, learn from some of their mistakes. Then we got the OHL Western West, where the Saginaw Spirit have taken top spot, but are barely. They're not barely clinging onto it. Or so you have taken top spot over the Erie Otters and are barely clinging onto it. The 1-point lead at 79 points, plus 98 in the goal differential, and 12-7-1 in the 1-goal game. So a pretty solid squad, and they do score a hell of a lot of goals with 240. Coming in number 2 and 27 points back are the Sarnia Sting. I mean, they're firmly planted in behind the Spirit, but are not far ahead of those Flint Firebirds. Only 1 point back of them. Then we got Windsor kind of clinging on to that last playoff spot with only a 2-point lead on the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, who have found a way to turn it around a little bit, trying to catch up. I mean, OHL is a bit of a weird one where you see a fair amount of teams below 500 make the playoffs. Like you look at someone like the Greyhounds, who are currently 10 points behind 500, but are only 2 points back. So it's always interesting to see what happens in the O. I think it's going to be more of a race on the western side than in the east. Most definitely. Do you have a bold prediction for us for this?
I do have my bold prediction going first for the O, buddy, and I think the Ice Dogs are going to buckle once again, as they have traditionally every single season. They're going to buckle. They're going to fall in round 3. They're going to fall in round 3, and I think the Bulldogs are going to march on to the semis. And I think that the Rangers again are going to surprise us, and they're going to be in the semis as well.
Okay. Fair enough.
So let's move forward, man, to the ECHL. Before we do that, what's your prediction?
For the OHL?
Yeah, buddy.
That's a tough one. You know what? I'm going to go with, and this maybe isn't so bold, but last season we kind of saw a similar thing happen where the Steelheads looked kind of down and out, a very mediocre team near the end of the season, and then a flip just switched. And a switch just flipped rather, and they tore it up. So I think maybe Jayhawks got something in his back pocket, maybe a crazy deal that
has
goes
that playoff mentality where he just turns it on.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what he can do. Maybe I think my bold prediction is that they definitely don't get bounced in the first round. They make it out of the first.
Okay, I like it. We're going to go to the ECHL main, buddy. ECHL main, we have the Oilers coming in, first of all, top spot. I don't see them losing it at this point in time. 82 points for them, 38 wins, 10 losses, 5-6 in overtime, and 10-7-6 in 1-goal games. I don't see them losing first place with 2 remaining.
No, probably not.
Excuse me. Excuse me. But I think it's what is it 9 points? 8 points?
8. Yeah.
8 points ahead. It's possible, but I don't see it.
Not tremendously likely, no.
The Fuel coming in number 2 in the ECHL main, 74 points with a 1-goal losing streak. Oilers on 3-game win streak at this point in time. 63 points for them. In 11, 2, and 6 1-goal games. Showing the 1-goal games, they really do lock down the wins, if not at least get a point out of it. The Mavericks coming in at 68, not far ahead of the Thunder, the Cyclones, or the Comets at this point in time. 68 points with a 1-game losing streak, 20 goals for, and 14, 4, and 6 1-goal games. Thunder coming in at 56 points, 30, 19, 2, and 5 in overtime, with an 18-goal differential and 11, 5, and 5 in the 1-goal games. Pretty dead even with the Mavericks in his 1-goal games. And the Cyclones coming in at 64 points, 30 and 20, 4 and 4 in overtime, 6-game win streak, 10-goal differential, and 14 and 7 in their 1-goal games. And the Comets coming in at 63 points, 29 and 20 for the season, with 8 and 5 in overtime, 11-goal differential, 13 and 7 and 5 in their 1-goal game differentials. And you're coming in looking at the last kind of like jockeys for the ECHL main. We have where the big spread happens between 6th and 7th and 8th is the Gladiators, Willie Nailers, and the Americans jockeying out by 2 points for that last playoff spot. Not deemed out yet, but they have to outbeat each week, but at least by 1 game, if not 2 games, against the Nailers in the next 2 weeks. They got to go 5-4, or Nailers go 4-5, or 6-3 to 5-4 for the next 2 weeks, and hopefully to climb above them in the next 2 weeks. So that's going to be the jockey in my spot to watch out for is the Americans and the Nailers. I think the Gladiators are safe in their 7th spot. I don't see them climbing to 6, but I think the Nailers and Americans are our teams to watch for the last jockey spot coming in this week, or last 2 weeks.
Agreed. I mean, it's interesting, right? 4 points back, but that's what the Americans did last season. They were behind it was them and the Oilers last season, TFBM's team as well, where the Oilers snuck in very last minute, very close race, and they
100%.
ended up making the playoffs. So I'm not counting these guys out by any stretch.
For sure, 100%. Coming to the ECHL main, this is where we got a little more of a jockey. I do see some climbing change between possibly the Oilers, the Steelheads, and the Wings being only out by 3 points among all of them. 2 by the Steelheads compared to the Oilers, and 3 by the Wings compared to the Oilers. We could see a banner battle in the last 2 weeks, and I expect to see that happen. I don't expect the Wings to take it. As much as I want to say that they would, looking at their lines and alignments, I think they have a chance, but I don't see it if the Oilers continue their strong run in the ECHL main. That's where my worry comes in.
I'm going to stop you there because that's a strange take. So you think that we're not going to catch the Steelheads, but we are going to make it past them in the playoffs?
And Steelheads, yes, you'll make it past them, I think, in the standings as well as playoffs. But the Oilers, I don't think you'll definitely catch. I think you'll not make that first place overall.
First place overall. Okay, that's a fair take.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was just kind of jumping back to your previous prediction where you had, I believe it was, the WHL facing either the Wings or the Fuel. That was your
right. I just think overall in the league at this
sure.
point, I don't think you guys will catch the Oilers. I think you'll beat the Steelheads out. But I don't see you guys catching the Oilers, depending on how it goes, obviously, this week. It is an easier division schedule and standing race for the Oilers, but they have been dominant on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see you guys taking over. If you guys do, hats off to you, but I don't see it happening. But I do think come playoff time, it's going to bear down to this who have the best 3 lines. I think the Wings have it overall.
Okay.
And I think that's where it's going to matter in playoff time. But for the season race, I think you guys will fall probably second this season.
Okay.
So bringing more to that, the Wings behind that the Steelheads here is 79 points, 1 point out, 36, 11, 13, and 7 in overtime. 4-game win streak, 59 goal differential, 17, 4, and 7 the 1-goal game differential, showing again that they are really dominant in the 1-goal games. You don't want to face them. We faced them a lot this season in 1-goal games. I think we're almost dead even this season in the 1-goal games. I think we're 1-1 or 2-2. I think we are. Maybe it's different. Maybe it's 1-2, but we have one more game to go yet, which is I again predict a 1-goal game.
Yeah.
We always seem to have those tight battles between us,
Mm.
even though we did have a sweep last season against you guys. I don't expect to be that much this season that easy. I didn't expect the last season either to be the sweep. I just like being braggy and cocky about it. I definitely expected it to be a game 7 between us last season, and it didn't go because EA definitely favored the Thunder against you guys, and you guys definitely got EA'd. I would say about 15 times in the 4 games.
Yeah, I mean, we had some tough bounces, but yeah, for sure.
So I mean, moving forward, let's forget last year's done with. So this year's a whole new thing, and this season we had a tough time even to beat you guys, let alone win a game. And I think the only game we have won was a 1-goal game. But whatever, it is what it is. Playoffs will be a whole new ball game, and I don't succeed to see the Thunder outdo the Wings this season.
Okay.
Coming in third overall, we have the Utah Grizzlies. I think they're going to stay, if not in fourth, to third at least in this battle. They're not catching the Wings. They're not catching the Steelheads. 64 points, 1-game win streak, 30-20 in the season, 4-4 overtime, 18-goal differential in a 7-5-4 and 1-goal game. So they don't really have a knack to close out those tight games. They tend to choke more than they do to anything else. Coming in fourth, we have the Toledo Walleye, 60 points. 1-game win streak, 26-20, 5-8 in overtime, minus 22 goal game differential, and 15-3 and 8 in 1-goal game differentials. They're showing they can close out a little more in 1-goal games, which might hurt the Grizzlies in the long run. So these guys can claim at least 1 point, almost 2 points, if not 3, a week in just 1-point games. If they hit overtime, that can be the difference. If it's all overtimes, they have a possible 6 points they can climb on just in overtime losing.
Mm-hmm.
That may make the difference, but I don't foresee it. I think it's going to stay kind of how it is, except for the change with the Wings number 1, Steel Eyes number 2, Grizzlies 3, Walleyes 4th, and the Rapid coming in at 5th. Maybe. The Rabbits have been on a tear recently. I believe they're at...
They're back-to-back 7-2 winning record.
I will say they're 14-4 in the past 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, so they're
I mean,
coming on strong. I mean, the Rush
they're
really
on a
gonna wash
tear,
them
and I
back.
think the Rush may fall to them.
I think
So
they
the
will.
only change I might see besides the Wings and Steelheads might be the Rapid and Greenville switching spots. Otherwise, I think it's pretty much a lock for how the standings look.
For sure. And what's an really interesting note, we kind of touched upon this with LG McDonald back at the beginning of the show, is
The Stingrays are in.
yeah, the Stingrays are currently in with a 13-game losing streak. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, right, where they're currently lined up to face the Steelheads, potentially the Wings, depending on how that shakes out. I'm interested to know if the management knows that they're in a playoff spot because of the way the standings are set up on the site. It's gonna be an interesting one to watch at the end there and how they kind of handle it, because in theory they could lose all the rest of their games and still make it.
Yeah, and still make it, right? I mean, at this point in time, they're in that spot where they can make it no matter what happens.
Yeah,
And
assuming the Icemen don't surpass them, right?
Considering that, I mean, I don't foresee it, but it's possible.
I mean, yeah, right now, I mean, as long as they basically go 500 and the Icemen go 500,
They got to win 6 games, in my mind, in the next 2 weeks.
to make it, probably, yeah.
Yeah. So they need 3 wins a week to make it at this point in time.
Which,
That's
yeah,
all
I
they
mean, it's going to be kind of a weird battle down at the bottom there, right? For that last
It
playoff
is
spot.
the last spot. I mean, I'd say again, Orlando, I think it's stuck at 7th, but I think again the only changes are going to be Greenville, and Rush, and the Wings and Steelheads will swap spots, I believe, as well. Besides that, we kind of got a lock in, and if that's the case, we're looking at Wings against the Stingrays round 1, the Steelheads against Solar Bears round 2, and a possible Utah Rapids/Rabbits.
Yeah.
And if the Rabbits can maintain this dominancy.
Well, for sure, yeah. There's some interesting storylines going on here, but yeah, that's our standings for the end of Week 6, heading into Week 7.
My prediction, though, coming into the ECHL, before we hit the MEM finals, it's going to be the Wings, and they're going to be facing the Rabbits.
The Rabbits. Okay, so you're saying in the ECHL East final?
Oh, sorry, I lie. The final will be the Wings against the Fuel.
Okay.
The Fuel.
All right.
That'll be the semifinals.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, nice rivalry going on. Muse and the One played us last season. I mean, for them, I hope they have better luck. But yeah,
Definitely.
be interesting to see. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up our standing for the show today,
That's
guys.
gonna
A bit
wrap
of a
our
longer
show
one
up.
here, rolling on almost 2 hours. Let's get you guys over to the top plays and kick off the end of the show. Thanks to everyone for coming out, and we will catch you again next Saturday at 7
We
p.m. for our
appreciate your
AHL
time as
show,
always for coming
and
here.
yeah, and our 4 p.m. show on Sundays for the CHL. Good luck out there, guys. See you next week.
My final goodbye, buddy, is going to be my old school saying from season 8 and 9: keep your sticks nice, stay in the box. Let's rock it.
Awesome. Catch you guys later.
Peace.